DeVore.
Here.
First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I have no additions or corrections. I take a motion. Second. Roll call.
Lane.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
DeVore.
Yes.
Mardini.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 4 is public comments. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on any item not on the agenda at this time? You? All right. Hearing none or seeing none, moving on to item 5. Item 5 is swear-in ceremony for Jeremy Sitker, Police Lieutenant. Step down off the dais real quick. We'll do some official paperwork.
I'm just going to do a quick introduction.
Introduction.
Jeremy Sipker is going to be taking our open lieutenant spot with our police department. Jeremy's been in law enforcement for approximately 8 years. Is coming to it from the Windsor Heights Police Department, where he's a corporal supervising patrol officers down there. Went through a rigorous testing process, came down to 2 finalists, very highly qualified people, Jeremy and one other person. And Jeremy clearly showed himself to be the better candidate in that assessment center. The whole day of testing and interviews and different exercises, and he came out the clear candidate for us on that. And we're very lucky to have him here. We're very excited to have him get started with us. So with that, I'll let the mayor do the swearing in.
Right hand, left hand. Remember, we kind of messed this up before, right? Your left hand on there. We did this one time. Yep, we did this one time. We had to come back and do it again. So make sure. Yep, raise your other hand for me, please. Repeat after me. I, Jeremy Sipker,
I, Jeremy Sipker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all of the duties of Police Lieutenant
discharge all the duties of Police Lieutenant
for the City of Polk City, Iowa,
for the City of Polk City, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's your turn to talk if you want to say anything.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
Here, do you want to let her pin his badge on, and then I'll have his badge on for the photos? These never go smoothly. I've been in a lot of them, including my own.
I think we lost something down here. It's probably one of those ones
Yeah,
that's
one of the
sticking in your
pins.
chest right now. So, what do you want?
Just hand up and.
Oh, we got to go through this again so you can look like I'm reading. Okay, yeah. He apparently didn't take the picture the last time. There you go. Put your hand up again. Look like I'm talking to you. Anything else, Jake?
That'd be it.
All right, let me do this real quick. All right.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Good?
Good.
All right.
Shaking hands with you for the.
I'm going to step out of your way. Congratulations.
Okay.
Jake.
Well, we're done here. We're already past the threshold there.
No?
About 15 more.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations too. I had a chance to meet him some time ago. I don't know if you remember. My son was doing some ride-alongs, and he rode with you, and he had a lot of good things to say.
That's great.
Real excited when he heard that you were coming, and I've heard nothing but good. I think it would be a great addition to the PD and natural fit, I think.
Thank you.
Hey, just real quick, what if he said a lot of nice things about you? What did he say about him? Just curious. Oh, he's not going to talk. He's already got his badge on. He's not talking. All right, just checking. Just curious. All right, moving on. Item 6, consent agenda. Take a motion.
Motion for consent agenda.
Second.
Yes.
I just noticed one place in an employee handbook where it refers to the city manager as opposed to city administrator. I'll point that out after the meeting.
Okay. I'll get that taken care of.
not on a corrective spot, it's an old spot.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries. I do want to make a couple quick comments regarding consent agenda items, specifically during the, about the handbook. I want to thank Lindsay and everybody who did work hard on that. I know department heads and everybody, there's been a lot of time in on getting that thing up to date. I think we probably about a year-long project to get that done, so nice work on that. And lastly, I know Mike wanted to speak to our other new employee tonight.
Yeah. Ian Tice is in the room tonight. Ian, could you stand up? Thank you. Yeah, we went through an interview process. We had 15 applications. We narrowed it down to 6, and then we interviewed 4. And Ian, in his interview, come out as a hard worker, and he's got some skills with HydroClean for us, Par Electrical, where he got his equipment background. And so anyway, we're really happy to see him. He really come across as a good fit for our crew out there. So I'd like to welcome Ian, and let's get to work, right? He will give his couple weeks' notice, so you'll see him in, I can't remember, but it's like the 3rd of February, yeah.
So we're destined to have a snowstorm between now and then.
Just want to comment, I've known Ian for a very long time. Great fit, perfect. So you hit her on the head.
Yeah.
Good, nice work. Congratulations, Ian.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Andy's from Polk City.
Andy's from Polk. Moving on to item 7, new business. Under new business action item 1, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-07 approving the amended site plan improvement for West Elementary School. I know somebody here, a couple of different people probably from North Polk to speak to this. Before we get too far in, I want to kind of get into what's kind of gone on here this last week, and there's been a lot of changes that have been made, a lot of working between parties to make some things happen. I want to appreciate Dan Mart and allowing me the opportunity to get involved in this. This started with a conversation last Wednesday that kind of just rolled from, I know there was some concern with the residents as well as some of us about a possible road that was going to go on the south side of the building. Following the informational meeting last Wednesday with Tim Olson and Dan and North Polk staff there, we pretty much looked at some drawings and said this is what we need to make happen. And at the end of the day, we came to an agreement and shook hands right there and said that they're going to put a sprinkler system in the new addition. And then we have finalized some agreements yet even late this afternoon that you guys will have in front of you in the next couple weeks regarding an agreement then to sprinkle the rest of the building within the next 7 years, I think is what we came up with an agreement. So lots of work. That's a very, very short Cliff Notes version to get there. I'm very happy with what we ultimately came up with. So with that being said, I'll refer on to whoever else is here.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, council members, my name is Mark McMurphy. I'm with Abakai Consulting, 101 Northeast Circle Drive, Grimes, Iowa. I'm the professional engineer and land surveyor on the project. Also in the audience with me tonight, Tim Olson, Kevin Stromer, Big Creek Design Group, and then Dr. Martz, superintendent. As was mentioned earlier, site plan. We're here for site plan review and approval. P&Z has reviewed this plan already, or they reviewed it with the fire access lane around the south side, which has since been removed. But and there was a lot of discussion about that, and city administrator and staff that had concerns about that. And so we worked through those issues. I believe we've got a very nice, good plan here tonight. Building elevations are up here. Gives you a look at what those are going to present to you, and then we've got a copy of the site plan and grading plan too. We're here to answer any questions you might have, but ultimately we're requesting your approval on the site plan.
Kathleen?
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, they just kind of reviewed it here tonight, but yeah, I mean, it looks like they've extended the buffer, removed the trees. There was a water main loop around the south side that was to serve a hydrant that's not needed now with the sprinkler system, so here's an order.
Part of the resolution also, in the last paragraph, does state that this is subject to the sidewalk easement being approved by North Polk School Board and recorded. I know that you guys had dealt with that last Thursday. We're waiting on the approval of Northern Natural Gas for the easement issues. And recognizing that we're entering into this agreement regarding the sprinkling of the rest of the building, like I say, which I hope we'll have in front of us in the next council meeting. And then also a planting plan will be established, I know, through the Arbor League, that hopefully there's going to be some conversations and some working together to not only along the southern row, but also potentially around the cooling tower, cooling area as well. I know there's been some conversations held there. So I think that there'll be a joint working opportunity there to help not only plant what could be there, but what really should be there. So.
All my concerns have been addressed. The concerns of the neighbors up there, and both what you and Dr. Mark worked out. Thank Dr. Mark for working with you and putting that together. And that's the only thing that concerned me has been taken care of.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
I think Dan, Martin, and I are within maybe a word or two on the agreement that will be back in front of the council as well as in front of the school board. So basically that agreement's been pretty much worked out.
And thank Amy for your quick response on getting that turned around too.
Commend both parts, the city staff, school, the school board, Dr. Mart, and the engineers for making it work. I think it's a great thing to come to a compromise and make it a win-win. So thank you for that. Thank you, Gary.
Yes, excuse me, I would agree. We all know how badly it's needed and going to be needed even more in the future, and we're glad to see it moving forward. At least I am.
One thing I would add is a lot of what Ron said. I know personally that it's needed with my girls being up there, and I know it hasn't taken the direct path to get here, but I think we do have a pretty good building in front of us, and just a reminder that to keep the parties that are most interested in the outcome in as much communication as possible. And I think since Wednesday we certainly look forward to maybe building upon that going forward. So.
I just echo what everybody else said. I'm grateful for everybody working together and coming to resolution on this so that we can get what the kids need. So.
Dr. Marr, do you have anything else to add?
Nope, I think we worked on all the details.
Talked enough. Anybody else? Yes, sure. Go ahead. State your name and address for the record.
My name's Ken Morris. I'm the tree guy. I'm here to represent the trees in the green space. Thank you for making the changes that we made up there. Just, I've met with all the neighbors, and everybody's really happy about the changes that have been made, just with the one request that with the building coming closer to the south, they'd like to have as much as they can for privacy screening. You know, and part of it also is keeping the balls out of their backyards. You know, but if we can work on privacy screening and also any trees that are being moved or removed, a lot of those were planted by the Arbor League. We'd like to have some, replacements, and then we're all for progress in the right direction. That the neighbors would like to have the best that they could for privacy screening. Arbor League would be glad to help in that regard.
Appreciate that support there. Anybody else have anything else? Otherwise, I'd take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate your help. Item 2, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-04, setting public hearing for Crossroads at the Lakes, rezoning request of 4.2 acres from commercial C2 to planned unit development PUD. This will be the next council meeting, February 13th. Make a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Lane,
Yes.
Dvorak, or
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, consider motion to approve first reading of ordinance 2017-200, amending water and sewer rates. Gary?
This is a 10% increase in both water and sewer. The Des Moines Waterworks is increasing their fees, and we're keeping abreast with this increase of 10%. Recently, the WRA is adding some trunk sewer work, and that will increase the amount of outgo by the city as our portion of the pipe. You can look at it as renting a pipe or utilizing a pipe and conveying your waste to the WRA. So these are increases that will go into effect after their 3 readings, and we have these slated for the meter reads in April of 2017 and payable in May of 2017.
I might add that this was discussed at great length by the Finance Committee, and it was decided that obviously if we're being passed on a charge from Des Moines, that we needed to do the same. So.
Yeah, and I would just add that, again, for the record, so a lot of the increase that we're passing along, we don't have control over. I think we're trying to do what we can to put ourselves in the best position we can for future water use, knowing that with pretty much everything in town, it's going up considerably. But I want to remind everyone that as it currently states, we're, for lack of a better term, water and sewer if you commingle them together. And I think from my point of view, that's a utility that should be relatively close and as much as can be predicted, a pass-through cost from the city's perspective. So you pay for the water and the sewer that you use. And I think our job is to put the citizens in as best position as possible to pay as reasonable rates as possible. And I think this is a step in that regard. And it's not fun to talk about water like bringing people on board, but it's an important thing.
I just wondered if, as Councilman Sargent brought up before, if there had been any more discussion about irrigation and irrigation meters and an increased fee there. If there's been any more discussion about that, and if so, is anything going to happen?
This also increases the charge for the gallons used in the garden meters. It also increases those at 10%. So
It was the same as it's not increasing it more than it is to take a bath.
It's your 1,000 gallons of water domestic is $4.54. Your gallons of water used for garden is $5.94 now.
Okay.
Was any conversation by Des Moines how often this will continue to happen, or did it just? I know if we could predict it, it'd be a different story, and we can't.
You got that foggy crystal ball we can look at? If you've been watching the news at all recently?
Every time they have a chance.
Right. It feels that way, because I know we just did 3 months ago or so.
Yeah, it's been about 8 months ago.
Like 3.
We're going to try to be proactive on this. The Des Moines Waterworks governance structure may be changing. There's even some thought about additional capacity being sold. There's a lot that is changing with the Des Moines Waterworks as it's becoming more of a regional water system. And as these things work their ways through and things get to the top of the heap, we'll be bringing them to the council and needing to react to whatever the situation is that week.
Do you have anything to add on the waterfront? I know it's a very fluid fluid situation. Yeah, I tried to take a play out of your playbook down there.
I think you're probably talking about the increased pumping capacity.
Everything, yeah, it's just everything.
Yeah, that discussion's been, talked about, and I know Des Moines Waterworks is working out the details and would like to come very soon here in like the next month, I'm hoping, to make a presentation about what we need, what they would need to get the pumping capacity up to snuff around here to supply us for the next few years. So that will be coming soon, that presentation.
Is that on that study that we went in on years ago and everybody seems to have forgotten about?
It's not forgotten, believe me. The final copy is here, and Des Moines is going through that with us. And in the presentation, you'll understand that I think right now it's going to come out that it possibly is going to be better for Polk City and Des Moines to work on a tower than Ankeny, but that's what it's going to say in the report. But the door's not completely closed yet. It could still happen, but number-wise, right now it's looking like that. But that's the 5-year plan. But that is just being finalized into Des Moines Waterworks. A lot of discussion going into that. Took us longer to get there than what we had anticipated.
About a year ago. Yeah. Seems to happen every time I go someplace.
Questions, comments? Take a motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2017-200.
Second.
Roll call.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Motion carries. Item 4, consider motion to approve second reading of ordinance 2017-100, amending section 25.04 containing the powers of duties of city administrator. Take a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Motion carries. Item 5, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-08 awarding Rosalind Mackey Harris Architects PC contract in the amount of $29,600 for the Polk City Police Station remodel. Anybody here to speak to that, or you want to
That's
take
going to
it?
be mine.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. The resolution that's in front of you is awarding the contract for the design specifications in form of contract to Rosalind Mackey Harris Architects. To take you through the process, approximately, it was December 12th, you received a report that gave a probable opinion of cost and staff was authorized to go forward with an RFP, request for proposals. We started that process and went out to 4 firms. 2 firms answered the RFP with a response, those being Rosalind Mackey Harris Architects and Big Creek Architectural Firm. The staff, comprising of Lindsay Williams, Trace Kindig, and myself, went through, and as a group we are recommending awarding this contract to Rosalind Mackey Harris Architects due to the fact the contract is short, to the point. The firm has come up with ways to improve the initial concept that was outlined by Big Creek Design Group. The proposed scope of work was $29,600 versus $35,000. The city has worked before and had favorable experience with this firm at the sports complex, the concession stand, and the restroom improvement, as well as a new building at Public Works. So representing the staff that I indicated, we are recommending the Rosalind Mackey and Harris for this work.
The only question I have is in the actual resolution itself. now therefore be it resolved. That, as I read that, it tells me that the entire renovation project is not to exceed $29,600, whereas that's just the architectural and engineering costs.
That would be correct, and that can be amended very quickly to make sure that that is exactly what is stated there.
I don't want somebody coming back later and wondering, well, where'd all this other money come from and get approved, so. Make a quick amendment to that.
Yep, that the design and architectural work for the police department renovation project not to exceed $29,600.
Yeah. Take a motion based on that.
With that, I would move to approve the project.
Second.
Roll call.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6, consider motion to approve Resolution 2017-05, approving Burke Gentry Law Firm attorney invoice for December 2016 in the amount of $7,854.58. Take a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 8, mayor's report under, yes, sir.
On the last one there, number 6, if I remember right, the reason that being moved down there, is it possible to move it back down in the consent items now, since I think that was already addressed?
Definitely can do that.
We'll do that. Do you want it, just out of curiosity, do you just want it as part of the finance board, or you want a separate line for it?
I mean, can we put it just like we do with Snyder?
Okay, just clarify. All right, perfect, we'll do that. Item 8, mayor's report. Item 1, set council work session for 5 o'clock on Monday, February 13th. This will be budget discussion. Do I don't need approval to do that, right?
Oh, you can set
Okay,
it.
we're setting a workshop. Yes, sir.
I'll be out of state.
You can call in.
I would be happy to, from anywhere in the world for you, Mr. Mayor.
Just thought I'd ask. Checking your whole commitment. All right. Everybody else can be here at 5:30 or 5 o'clock on the 13th. All right. A couple other just quick things. Number one is I want to just on the North Polk thing. There was it's too bad Dan left. There was a lot of work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week to pull this together, and I really want to thank everybody for their hard work in making that happen. Lots of conversations and people willing to actually work together, and it went a long way. So I appreciate Dan and everybody in that regard too. So. Couple other just quick things going on. I did my annual chamber update a couple weeks ago. Basically gave them kind of the state of the city, the building report. I think that went over pretty well. At the same time, we were able to release the new Polk City Development Guide. I encourage everybody to look at it. I'll be signing autographs later for you, Rob, if you want one.
Purple's the new color for 2017.
All right, whatever. Anyway, there's been some good comments to it and reaction. Just want to make sure everybody saw a copy of it. I also went on Thursday and made a presentation for about an hour to the North Polk School Board. Gave them the same update on where the city's at and where we're going, and lots of good questions. Lots of maybe even some surprises, I think, from their side with how things are going here. But all of the numbers were there, and I appreciate your report from having all that together. We had a Four Seasons Festival. We kicked off our Four Seasons Festival meeting this last week, so it's unbelievable. We're already going that way. Also last week, Gary and I had lunch with the mayor and city administrator from Ankeny. Lots of good conversation, and we're going to actually probably roll this into about a once a quarter get together, I think, with Ankeny to try and kind of stay on board with what they have going on. There's a lot of important stuff between the two, but we're happy with our growth, and it was interesting to hear their numbers. Let's be honest, but it was a good conversation that we had. So, and lastly, I stated at the chamber meeting, and I stated at the school board meeting that I was out But this is 2017. This is the last year of my first term, and I do intend to run for re-election in November. So we're excited to kick off 2017. That being said, I'll move on. Ron.
Just one thing, the P&Z meeting last week was a lengthy meeting for a P&Z meeting, a lot of discussion over the school. The commission, I want it known publicly, showed a lot of concern for the neighbors up there. That was their main focus, and trying to keep things in line, and had some ideas, and I hope that some of theirs led to the meetings that you alluded to earlier, and I just praise the work of the P&Z Commission.
Absolutely. Dave?
I want to welcome Mr. Siepker. I get it wrong. And also Ian, he left, but two great hires. I think look forward to them staying here for a very long time and making your guys' lives easier. And also just reiterate the fact that we worked this out with the school up there. I think that's a big leap for us to be able to work together and get some stuff done to move forward. So thank you for your hard work.
I'd just like to piggyback on what everybody else already said. Both what Ron said, P&Z, looking after the neighbors, I think was great. And for Dr. Mart working with you, I think it's no secret that the ability for the city to get anything done with that group has been extremely difficult. And Dr. Mart did a great job, and I think it's a great example of what can be done when both sides work together.
Thank you.
The only thing I had, although I want to first go back to what Ron said and commend the P&Z and we get a lot of credit for and blame for what goes on in the city, and our job is not to say this person can build this type of building here and not there. It's to enforce what I would consider to be some minimum requirements, and I think they did that. I think it was a tough decision. I think it would have been a very tough decision for us to take that the next step further if we saw what they saw tonight. So again, I think they asked a lot of good questions, shared a lot of good concerns, and the process worked in that step very appropriately. I was also going to bring up the Four Seasons. So it's July 14th and 15th. And amazingly enough, it's going to be the 10th Four Seasons Festival this year. So, it doesn't seem like it. But as you mentioned, we had our first meeting earlier last week, and I think we've got a lot of great festivals, and it depends upon the weather, and a lot of it depends on planning that pales in comparison to what the weather does. But nonetheless, looking forward to having that. Coming up here this summer, and hopefully make some additions that'll make it even a little bit more celebratory to ring in 10 years. And on a similar note, we've got before the next council meeting, the first neighborhood citizen group meeting on the 7th, so the week before. Looking to have the PD come and go over a few things, but I'm hoping to get some good feedback from them on the festival and some other things too. So. That's all I have.
Didn't you say at the meeting we had that if the weather was good, it was me, and if it was bad, to blame you?
I don't remember it exactly
I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. Dan.
Well, through the luck of the rotation on this, I get to be last, so I'll repeat everything everybody said. I had already mentioned that I was grateful for everybody that worked together, so I won't dwell on that. I also want to welcome the two new employees in town, Mr. Sepker, is that correct?
Yeah,
Sepker, and he enticed, I believe he graduated with my daughter. So if that's the correct one, I've known him for quite some time, then myself as well. But I just want to welcome both of them to town. Glad to have you on board, and look forward to working with you.
Council discussion. City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. I've only got one thing, but it is rather important. We received communication today from Mid-American. They are going to be holding a public input meeting on February 16. That is a Thursday, February 16, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. at the community building. They have identified a route for high voltage lines and have identified a location for a substation that will serve Polk City. This has been a long time coming, and I really encourage anyone that can make it to that meeting from the city to go ahead and be at that meeting. Lindsay has already indicated from staff that she will be attending. A council person would not be a bad thing to show support to Mid-American, that we appreciate them finally addressing one of our biggest obstacles and could be our biggest obstacle in our future growth is being addressed by Mid-American.
Yeah, it's good to get that letter today.
Yeah.
Ron, you said you could go.
Yeah, our wonderful city clerk, I would appreciate the good work she does if she could send me a reminder about that meeting, because
Yes, sir.
I'd like to be there. Thank you.
Thanks, anything else?
That's all.
That's it. All right, attorney's report,
Nothing, Your Honor.
engineer's report,
I have nothing, Your Honor.
public works report,
Nothing at this time.
technology, finance.
Nothing tonight.
That's as easy. Fire department, police department.
I would just like to highlight quickly, first of all, I'm still working on the new police report. That's going to be Lieutenant Sipker's first assignment, is we're going to put something together for something that works for everybody for a monthly report, first council meeting each month. Should have that on February 13th, tentatively. But I do want to highlight real quick, just for everybody, in case you got calls or heard about, we had several car burglaries a few weeks ago down in the Pine Ridge neighborhood. And so Ron Lampers took the calls for Officer Lampers. He did a great job, asked a couple questions, got some clarification, and he ran with the case, liaison with Ankeny Police Department detectives, and through very dogged detective work, which I was very proud of him, he identified a suspect, and the person's not in custody yet, but he's got warrants out for his arrest. They will identify him and get charges out for the gentleman, so we can start looking for him to, if you want a gentleman, but to charge him with this. So did a very good job that I get the details of it. These are just some more strides we've been making over the last 6 months. These officers have really started to develop and take on new roles that they didn't really do in the past or have the opportunity to do. So it's a really good success story, because I know it affects people a lot when some of their property, their car, home gets burglarized. It really is a very personal crime, even if don't see it happen or anything like that. And it brings a lot of good closure to people to know that the police department's able to, may not stop at the time, can't stop everything before it happens, but building their capabilities to track those people down afterwards and hold them accountable for it. That's all I had.
Thanks. Library report?
Stand up behind the
Yes.
mic.
Oh, yes.
Just a couple things. As of January 1st, you can pay with credit card at the library through the city website, and that's thanks to Lindsay. And then we're also a geocaching site at the library, and with all the surrounding lakes, they actually hid it in a tackle box, which we thought was pretty cool. And I want to thank the library board and also City Hall for all their help during this transition time.
Thank you for your help. Anything else? Otherwise, Joe would like a motion to adjourn.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
I would second that motion.
All in favor?
I